Welcome to the Social Living Podcast. I am your host, Julian Greene, and my co-host, Jam Lawrence. Man, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I had my work's delayed Christmas party last night, so I'm feeling
Hey,
it.
talk about delayed.
Yeah, delayed. Obviously, COVID hit over Christmas and that got cancelled, so they pushed it back till last night. But yeah, so I'm on a green juice to get me through the day. But that's all good. It's good. It was good fun. It was good fun.
That's good, man. That's good. Where was it? Like, did you go anywhere special?
Just in Cheltenham, there's a bar called 131 that the owner of Superdry also owns. So yeah, it just made sense to do it there.
Shout out to the
Oh,
owner of Superdry, man, because he's a proper entrepreneur and he like serial. Like,
he's
owning
like the
some.
monopoly man. He's taken over half of Cheltenham.
That's sick, man. Have you ever? Do you know what kind of house he has or anything like that?
So we do. I've not been, but we've done a few like photo shoots at his house, and people say it's like next level, like MTV Cribs level. Like,
We're saying so photo shoots at the house, that's
yeah, swimming pools. Like it's meant to be mad. It's meant to be crazy.
that's mental, man. That's sick though. That's sick. It's sick, man. And if you can build relationships with people that are like that as well, and you got access to people like that, it's good, man. You can only learn from them, man. So yeah, man. Has much been happening on gone?
I was just gonna say, how's things with you, man?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. You know what? Yesterday we had a conversation about cars, and I can't lie, I'm disgassed right now. So we're considering a new motor. And he talked to these dealerships. The car sells itself, man. Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. I think like the car dealers don't need to do much anymore. I'm telling you, all you need to do is sit in the car and a test drive, and that's it. You're sold.
yeah, and as long as it's like newer than the one you have now,
Mm.
like instantly you go, oh yeah, the virtual cockpit's touchscreen now. I'm like, whoa, okay, oh, okay. It's just enhancing in it, and yeah, little things like that, and I'm just like considering it, and it's you know, to me, it's like, why not? Why
Mm.
not? Why not? What's the issue? What have I got to lose? What have I got to lose?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I
No,
got,
I
you
hear
know what I
you.
mean?
I mean,
I'm still grinding. I still got to make the work up, and we got to keep pushing. So it's like something like this it's just proof of our hard work.
yeah, extra motivation keeps you going.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the latest with me, man. That's the latest with me. But in terms of the world of social media, man, has anything been happening this week? I haven't been keeping my ear to the streets or on socials. I haven't been on there too much this week. I don't know if there's been
For
much happening.
me, I've not seen much apart from this morning. I woke up to Burna Boy. Burna Boy is trending. And I was like, oh, where's he trending? And then I've seen he's performed at Madison Square Gardens last night. The live stream is on YouTube. If anyone's a fan of Burna Boy, you've got to watch that live stream. It's about 2 hours long, but
Okay.
his performance levels are up there with like Beyonce. Like the set he had was a joke. Like I
Beyonce,
wish.
that's a big statement,
Yeah,
Like,
maybe not Beyonce. Let's take that back. He's reaching those levels.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
elevating. He's elevating his performance, which is good to see.
that's
But
good.
yeah, top performance, and I wish I was there to witness it because it looked like such a vibe.
To be fair, you've seen Burna Boy in person as well, so you're probably you're gonna see him again, Afro Nation that
Yeah,
we're
he
talking.
was there.
Yeah,
He was
so
there, yeah.
Madison Square Garden. No, he's elevated to next heights, man. If you look at some of his early videos and he's comparing to what he is now, man, the development, the honing in on his craft, I just thought, wow, yeah. I didn't think he would be at this level. Do you know what I mean? I love artists when they're at that stage where it's like, I just want this artist for myself. Not many people listen to him, but now he's like global, which is good. It's good to see.
No,
So
he deserves his flowers for sure. Him,
yeah,
him and Wizkid. I feel like they've paved the way for Afro beats and African artists at the moment because yeah, nothing's topping Afro beats at the moment.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
owning that area. They're owning that urban area at the moment.
Yeah, because it's changed so much. Like, so I remember when I was growing up, it was very much like dancehall reggae was like that urban noise, you know what I mean? And that would influence things like grime and stuff like that. And You had your Beanie Mans and your Sean Pauls all on the charts and stuff. And then I feel like the last four, actually, this is a kind of mad statement. I feel like the Latinos had a vibe as well. They had
At
a,
the time,
they had a run.
yeah, like a 3-year stint. And Drake was jumping on a few Latino bangers as well. But yeah, they definitely had that time.
They had their time, and I feel like that was slightly on top of Afro beats, just in terms of global reach and just just everything. Because people weren't even understanding the language, and they're singing along to some of these songs, and they just had it on, and it was on British radio and things like that. But Afro beats were still there. I still feel like the Latinos had it was a little bit above, but now you're seeing the Afrobeat coming in a different way. You know, some of the songs that and they got like Fortnite dances, and you know, it's big up the Afrobeats, man. I didn't think this was gonna get to this point. Now I'm like, where's the reggae and the dance? Are they gonna come back?
I'm waiting. Yeah. I want to see what new school bashment and dancehall is gonna look like and sound like.
I think it's gonna sound like Afrobeats.
Potentially, yeah. You can see Popcorn like jumping on a song and trying to find a way to get his rhythm and his flow into like an Afrobeat instrumental. But
yeah, and you see the influences though, even from like the Caribbean in Afrobeats to a certain extent. Like Burna Boy does it a lot, Wizkid does it a lot. Do you know what I mean? And even that Wizkid album, there's a lot of Jamaican influence in there, and you can see like it's so good to see. And now it's like, okay, can the Jamaicans do the same thing? You know what I mean? Or can the Caribbeans do the same thing? So let's see, man. Let's see where it goes, man. In saying that, I did see this Bayesian artist, a guy from Barbados, and he just had a trending song on TikTok. I think throughout the episode, if I find it, I'll play it at the end of the episode. But yeah, I feel like this could be a new trend for like the Caribbean to kind of jump on, where it's trending on TikTok, and it's just going crazy, doing mad numbers, like 31 million views on his one song, and it's like just a 20-second snippet. It's just like it's mental. But yeah, man, let's see. But yeah, let's dive into this episode, man. We did the intro already. So this episode 33, this is 33 weeks of podcasting that we've done. Technically it's probably coming up to a year now since we first started the episode, started podcasting, but you know, sometimes it is difficult to be as consistent as you want to be, but we keep going, man. We keep going. So this is episode 33. 33 is a powerful number. I don't know if you have any significant, but I know Jesus died at 33. Nipsey Hussle died at 33 as well. So it's like, I don't know, that's what it means to me a little bit. Like, I think of that. So I feel like this is a powerful episode. So I just wanted to make this episode about books, man. So we were going to talk about 10 books, but we'll see how many books we can squeeze in. So 10 books that you must read in 2022. So throughout my life, throughout Jam's life, we've both read a variety of different books, and certain books have different influences on us. And yeah, man, we're going to talk to you guys about this today. Jam, do you want to start with like your first book?
Yeah, well, I'll dive into it. So I guess I'll stage my list in terms of when I read them and the stage of my life I read them at. So the first book I read, my first recommendation is The Secret. We spoke on it before, but in terms of changing my mindset at an early age, in terms of how I change my thoughts and how my thoughts will influence what I do and what I look to achieve. That was the book that kind of transitioned that for me, transitioned my thought process at a time where I was leaning away from football and hoping to step into fashion with my own footwear label. That book kind of helped with that whole transition and making sure I was aligned with what I actually wanted in terms of what I was thinking and what I was actioning my thoughts on. So yeah, that book done it for me, and it's a book that's about mindset really, and the law of attraction. And there was a quote that used to do the numbers a few years ago when this book was probably like at its peak probably. I think the quote is "thoughts become things" from the book, and that I feel like through like influencers and blogs and podcasts, that phrase become quite hard hitting. But it's true, because it like, even to this day, I probably read this book probably like 7 years ago now, but the lessons I've learned from the book still carry strong. Like, I still reference them to this day, in terms of, if I'm having a bad day or if I'm thinking negatively, I understand that those thoughts will impact what I do in the day and the outcome of that. So being able to flip it, and it teaches you a few skills to flip that, because it is hard to do. It is hard to change your mindset if it isn't in a positive state, to a positive state. But yeah, this book is a great book just for that. And it was my, I guess, introduction into self-help books. And this is probably like the first book I read around self-help. And it's quite a soft approach, which I like. It's an easy read. And it kind of geared me up to a long journey of self-help books and podcasts and then that whole space. But yeah, highly recommend it if anyone's looking to start that journey, or if they feel like they just need an extra push in life, or just help with changing their mindset. It's definitely a good one for you.
Yeah. No, I even just looking at the reviews here, like it's sick. Like I've never actually personally read it. I've just been recommended it so many times, and I think over the years as well, I think a lot of people find like this is like one of the first like sources of like that self-help book. So you got your Anthony Robbins, you got your Gary V's, you got your Jim Rohns. Like there's so many of these guys that are like focusing on like self-development, manifestation, and things like that. And this is the book that it's like, this is like the seed that planted for the rest of these books that we see coming in kind of like afterwards. And like the reviews, it's like 4.6 out of 5, which is amazing, out of almost 30,000 different ratings. Like 80% are saying, yo, that's 5-star book. And even the reviews here as well, what they mention is like positive thinking, it's an easy read, change their life, highly recommend, great book. Ironically, one says waste your money. But yeah, most of the majority again is a good one. It's so funny that actually the first one here is like, I don't get it. But again, sometimes these books are not for everybody. Do you know what I mean? So that's your judgment. Again, if it sunk in with you and it helps you change, then that's a positive. So yeah, man, big up that book. Shout out to, is it Rhonda Bryan?
Yeah,
Rhonda Byrne. I don't know how you say that. So yeah, man, big that book up, man. It's good. It is good. So I'm happy to move on to my next book. So my next book is, I'm gonna do the same thing as you. So this is like one of the first books I read. I can tell you, when I was younger, I wasn't a big fan of reading. Like when I say younger, I read, like when I was a primary school kid, I used to read a lot of Harry Potter books. I read certain books at a time that would, grab my imagination. But then once you go to secondary school, football was a priority. Girls, just like man, them just playing football, whatever it is, like whatever. Your social circle changed, so then reading doesn't become as cool as it did when you were younger. So I kind of fell out of love with reading, and then I kind of got back into reading when I was at university, just because I needed to read so many books. I was like, how am I going to really get these books if I don't like them? Let me find something that I'm going to enjoy. So this is one of the first books. I just needed books that had representation. So I don't think I ever read a book prior to that point that had Black characters in there. And this is one of the first books. So this book is called Midnight. It's a massive book. It's like a Bible, right? Like this is, we're talking how many pages here? Like, it's old and tired. I recommend it to so many people. This is 496 pages. So this is a big boy book. Again, it probably looks like Damson Idris. It might be Damson Idris on the front cover.
Yeah.
It looks just like him, but I'm sure this book came out probably like when he was a kid. It might be him, you know, who knows? But this book written by Sister Soldier, who's a black Muslim, I believe, and this book is about a boy who moves over from Sudan. So he's traditionally, I think he moves over at like between 11 or 13. I think it's like 13 years old. There was a civil war in Sudan. I think this is when Sudan was breaking. There was like North Sudan and South Sudan. There was like a whole civil war thing happening. It was affecting his family. His dad sends him and his mum, and his mum was pregnant at the time, over to New York so they can get access to social housing, which was also known as the projects. And the whole story is about him kind of finding love in New York, but also adapting to New York as like a way of life. He's meeting different types of black people. He's Muslim. He's meeting different types of Muslims. There's Muslims who have, you know, lived in America and they don't even speak a word of Arabic, or they don't know how to read the Quran or anything like that. So he's differentiating himself from those types of people. But then other people in the country still look at him and another black person the same, and he's trying to like go through that. But it's super interesting. He's just got so much responsibility at a young age. He tries to go to school. Day one of school, he realizes this school's not worth it. Like, I've learned all of this already. So what he ended up doing was like going to the library every day instead of going to school, and then working at a fish market to make money for his mum, because the mum couldn't work. So he's trying to pay the bills and stuff like that, which is another thing. Like, I guess a lot of us are not faced we're not faced with these types of issues. Sometimes we think about school and it takes us away from like certain responsibilities sometimes, you know what I mean? And if you go back to like 100 years ago, it was common for kids to be working in mines and stuff like that, earning money, because maybe their parents are too old to work or whatever. So these are different decisions. You had to be kind of well off if you wanted to go to school or whatever. But now it's like, if you don't go to school, it's like, what? Like, how are you not going to school or whatever? So yeah, man, this book, I highly recommend it. It's not a self-help book, anything like that. This is just the first book one of the first books that I could see representation of myself and I could relate to it. I grew up on social housing as well, like council housing here in the UK. So different, like, I could just relate in so many different ways, different types of people that you might have on a council estate, the different types of families, the different, like the diversity you'll have. And it's the same in New York. And you know how he's quickly what's the word? He's differentiated straight away, because he's from Africa, he's wearing sandals and he's wearing like a hat or whatever, and that already, that people are trying to bully him, so he has to fight to get respect and things like this. Is all at 13, and these are little things that I think some people from different areas don't understand that you might have to go through when you're living in social housing or council houses, or even just a hood or just a poverty-stricken area. These are things that you have to deal with and survive against, where in the suburbs, probably no one cares if you're wearing sandals or whatever. You might have different pressures, but you don't have a pressure that every day you go home, you're going to have to fight because someone doesn't like what you're wearing, or someone wants to take something that you have. Do you know what I mean? And these are different pressures that I could just relate to in the book. And that's why I highly recommend it. In terms of what is on, what's it called? On Amazon, I'll just share the ratings quickly. Where is it? 2 seconds. Share the screen, tab. So Midnight, it's called A Gangster Love Story. I don't know why it's called A Gangster Love Story, because I never associated it with gangster anything. But yeah, it's another 4.5 or 4 point. Where are we looking?
Yeah, the top.
Top. Oh yeah, 4.5. What are we looking at? 4.7 out of 5, 87% really like this book. So again, I don't think you need to be from like the black diaspora, but if you want an interest in reading, you want to have a in-depth like view on what maybe happens in some of these projects, I think it's a good story. Really, really, really good story. This is not like her first book or anything like that. This is based on a character from one of her previous books. So a special mention to The Coldest Winter Ever, which was like a prequel to this book. And one character stood out, which is named Midnight. So that would be Midnight as an adult. And this is just his story as a kid and how he came over to America. But yeah, highly recommend the book. I don't even know if there's any comments on the book. Sister Soldier, Winter Ever, well written. There is a love story, so I'm not going to give the plot away. So it is good. I think anyone can read about this. Again, it's about Sudanese culture. You can learn so much about this. I learned a lot about Islam in this as well. So yeah, I thought it was really, 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 really good. So yeah, man, that's my first book.
Just to add, like I think it's books like these that can help change the way a lot of kids think. Like if you take Of Mice and Men out of schools and you replace it with a book like this, you're automatically educating a younger generation about a different way of life that they might not have come across before, that immigrant story that they might not have come across. Maybe they might not have a friend, they might not know anyone, or if there is someone in their school or in their year or in their class that is an immigrant, it helps just paint the picture for them without them having to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an important message that as like children, especially as kids going through school, even as adults, to just understand a different viewpoint, a different way of life. And yeah, it's an important one. Even just to touch on a representation, like we spoke on it before, but to have a book written at that stage, at that in 2009, that touch on representation like it has is important, because like when I was growing up, I had no relatability when it comes to reading. Every book I read or was put in front of me was of old white men. And again, that entrance into reading is tough. Automatically, I thought that I actually don't like reading, but it was the books that I came across or that was put in front of me at school that I didn't connect to. It wasn't until I got older and I started open up my horizon in terms of the books out there that I understood that it's not, I don't actually not like reading. It's just the books that I've read so far haven't been ones that kind of connect with me. So yeah, it's important on that representation part as well.
Yeah, no, you said it, man. You hit the nail on the head there. And yeah, for anyone who wants to see that representation, this is a good book to start off with. And then, you know what it's like with Amazon. They always have recommendations as you scroll down. So you can see some of her other books. Again, she's been connected with the likes of like Jay-Z, P. Diddy. There's a lot of like stuff here that she's written. Again, I haven't read all of them, but you know, I gave a big shout out to here. We got The Coldest Winter Ever. There's a second book, or the volume 2 of Midnight, which I've read as well. And then there's volume 3 as well, which is A Moment of Silence, which I've also read. And I think what her thing is there's certain principles about this character that I think that as a Black person, I think we should all have these different principles. Not everything goes his way, but there's certain principles that he lives by that separate him from the noise. And I think that if you take on some of these principles, you'll be protecting the right things in life and going after the right things in life as well.
That's
So
important. It's an important thing to touch on, actually, because coming as people that are immigrants or come from immigrant families, you come over with a set of morals that can easily be washed out as the generations go along. So it's important to keep hold of them, because that is what separates you. That is what makes you you. And like I see it with like us and our grandparents. There's certain morals and characteristics that we know we want to keep within the family because it's who we are. But it's easy to kind of neglect that as you try to fit in, I guess, into the areas that you've moved to. Yeah, that was just an interesting topic to talk about, because I know a lot of people struggle with that when they do move to a different country. Is they move with their morals and values, but quickly they kind of let go as they try to fit in.
Yeah, but then you also faced with like different, like for example, normally it's your parents. Say your parents come over here, your parents try to keep these morals, but then you're here, and it's like though, like what they may have had to face in their schools when they were back home, and what it could be India, it could be Africa, or whatever it might be, is one thing. But then the schools here is a different thing. You know, in other schools outside the country, you know, teachers beat you or whatever, and here they don't do that. Do you know what I mean? So there might be more distractions that you might have, and sometimes as parents you might not understand what your kid is going through on a day-to-day basis to try and keep these morals, and then the distractions that they're facing as well. So yeah, man, that's a really good point there. So again, I'm just going to keep recommending this book. What we're going to do as well, if you are watching this on YouTube, I'm going to pop a link below with all the different books that we recommend here. So yeah, man. So Jam, yeah, man, what's the next book?
My next book is Atomic Habits by, his name is James Clear. So this book got me through lockdown, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
it was a book through lockdown, myself, and probably a lot of people can probably relate, but a lot of my routines that I had went out the window, and I started to pick up a few bad habits. My partner's got a baking business. One of my bad habits was probably eating a cookie or two a day, and quite quickly that crept up on me. And I remember looking in the mirror at one point, thinking, "God, we need to do something about this." And it was this book that kind of showed me the importance of compounding, and how small habits each day result into bigger outcomes, bigger achievements. And that is basically what the book is about. It's about how to shape your life, improve your life, and shake off bad habits. And it kind of teaches you different techniques, different ways, different guides of achieving that. But even with I was working on a trail at the time as well, and just having this, but I had a physical copy and also had the audio book. But being able to listen to the audio book and work on the trailer got me just in the right mindset to accomplish a task, no matter how small or big it was. But I'd set out my working day, and I knew I had to get this done before I finished. And if I had those tasks every time I went out, in 6 weeks' time, the trailer would be finished. And it was that type of thinking that really helped me achieve that goal, and achieve it quicker than I would have done if I probably didn't read this book. Because often you can kind of think a bit loosely when it comes to achievements and what you want in life, really. And without any guidance or without a destination, your journey could go all over the place. But this book really helped me solidify my thoughts, what I actually wanted, and how to go about that. But yeah, definitely recommend it for anyone on that journey. And even if you even I said as well, like even if you want to shake bad habits, if you've got bad habits, it teaches you how to get rid of them as well.
that sounds it sounds like such an interesting book. Like I love it when
Or you're on mute.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
So yeah, there's a lot of books out there, a lot of people out there that are always trying to sell you some kind of dream of some sort, but sometimes they don't give you like the steps on how to get there. So like you mentioned, like you start to loosely think about this, but you haven't really thought about the steps. And I know I definitely done that in the past, and I think even with the agency, I kind of just loosely just went in that direction. But I had to quickly figure out, okay, what are the different steps that get me there? And I try whenever someone tries to give me advice about something, or if I'm trying to give someone else advice about something, I always try to ensure I can give them like a bite size, like step by step of how to do it, just to get them to start, because I think that's just so important. So like obviously I speak Spanish. People used to ask me, "Oh, how do you speak Spanish?" Da, 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 da. And I was like, the best way to do it obviously is to live in that country and just absorb that like absorb the language. But if you can't do that, I think that like if you can learn some of the conversational structures, which is what you would learn at school, I think that if you're able to, let's say, learn one word a day in Spanish, by the end of the year, you've just 365 or 366 words that you would know. And then let's say on average, the average human, like the average person who speaks English, uses a maximum of around 500 words. You're already like 80% of the way there. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like knowing enough words to be able to speak a language. But if you just like, how long would it take you to learn one word a day? Like that doesn't take that long. You might just have to say that word 10 times and then you've got it in the locker. Do you know what I mean? And like if you just bite size it like that, then you know, and something just like one word is so achievable. As soon as you do 2 words a day, you've gone past like what you might need to like learn on average to cover like a massive vocabulary. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes you just got to break things down like that. And I think it should be the same when it comes to exercise. As soon as you get to exercise, people would tell you, yeah, you need to work out 6 times a day, blah, blah, blah. 6 times a week, sorry. But you might not, as soon as you think of that, you can't, it's like you can't fathom it. But if you were to say, all right, well, on Monday, just do 2 press ups. And then Tuesday, do 2 press ups or whatever. Then by the end of the week, you've done 14 press ups. Now double it the next Monday. Do you know what I mean? Then progressively you're compounding, you know, and then suddenly within 3-4 months time, you've been able to do more press ups than you've ever thought you would do before. Instead of like, oh, I need to do 25 push-ups and you struggle to do 25. Do you know what I mean? So you have to like progressively overload it. And I think that's what the book seems like it's saying. So it needs to, I think people do need that to kind of unlock doing tasks for sure. So yeah, man, big up that book. And you got it on both like paperback as well as audiobook as well.
Yeah. Like sometimes audiobooks do it for me. Like it's, I just find it easy to digest, especially when I'm doing things. I've said before, like if I was on a morning commute or in the gym, it just helps me digest it a lot easier. Especially if it's a book like this, I can take mental notes and that's enough for me. Other books, they might be a bit more hefty, and I might actually need to take physical notes. So I'll tend to read a physical copy. But for this one, yeah, the audiobook was probably the best way for me to digest the content.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. I think none of my suggestions, I don't think I've actually listened to any of the audiobooks for them. Actually, apart from one, there's one, a little bonus one I have. I probably listened to the audiobook. But yeah, that's good, man. And again, the reviews, they look really, really good on this one as well. What are you saying? 4.7 out of 5. Again, #1 bestseller as well. So yeah, definitely go out and get that one, and you know, improve your way of thinking when it comes to, you know, achieving some of your goals this year. So definitely go out and take a look at that one, man. My next book, if you're happy to move on. So yeah, my next book is, I think most people have heard of this one, so I've got it in person. It's The Alchemist. This book changed a lot of things for me. I read it like, when did I read this? I read this, I think it was during uni. I think that's when I had my biggest spree of reading. There was just so much. I didn't have like the latest smartphone, so I wasn't playing games on my phone or anything. So on the way into uni and stuff, it used to take me like an hour. So I would just read. I could finish books in like a week and stuff. So this was one of the books that changed my thinking. I was not even expecting much from it. What made me buy it? This is the Power of Influence, Will Smith. This book, game changer. You know what? You know how he is. I just went out, bought it on Amazon, and I've been recommending it to everyone ever since, man. It's just the right book for me, you know, because self-help books, they can be overwhelming sometimes. It's too much to take in. But this is done in a story. It's almost like a biblical story, like a modern day biblical. It's not even modern day, because it's not in a time that is modern, I wouldn't say, but it's something I could understand the morals behind the story straight away, if you know what I mean. And it's not written like wherefore out thou, you know, all that stuff. So it's written modernly in a modern way, but the stories are so powerful. So anyone who has read this, you would probably testify by this, and I always recommend it. So yeah, The Alchemist, again on Amazon. I believe the ratings are just through the roof. It's another big seller. Jam, have you read it? I'm not sure.
I've not read it. I've not read it, but again, it's one of those books that I see recommendations for it all over the place. A guy that I get a lot of my book recommendations from is Reese Wabara, the owner of Manir Devoir, and he screams and shouts about this book. So yeah, I know it's a decent one, and it's definitely on my list to read.
And it's not a like big read. Again, it's like 192 pages, I think it is, and it's really small. So it's like you could bang this out. It's such an easy read. Again, it is a big what's it called, bestseller, and him as an author, I really like the way he writes. So that I'm gonna shout out another one of his books. Right, it's the Winter Soldier. I mean, it might come up here actually. Here we go. Manual of the Warrior of Light. That book is one of those books, right, that you just flick through the whole book. You can just flick through, go to any page, just read one quote, and then you're set for your day. Like, so he's that type of writer, and I just appreciate his writing skills for that. So yeah, The Alchemist is a good book, and then also the Manual of the Warrior of Light. It's another good book. I came across that book through it's an actor. I don't even remember his name. I can't remember his name. But yeah, he was in one of the latest westerns with Jay-Z that Jay-Z produced. I don't know if you've seen it. The Harder They Fall.
Yeah. Well, which black actor?
Yeah, black actor. I don't even know what else he's been in. This is a quick Google search. The Harder. There you go. It's a quick search quickly. Let me just get the name up. Jonathan Majors. That's his name.
Okay, cool.
Jonathan Majors. So check. Like, he's good, man. He's such a minimalist as well. I like the way he is. Like, the way he thinks is just. Yeah, it's amazing to me. So yeah, highly recommend Paulo Coelho's books. The Alchemist is a great place to start. If you want to move on to that, definitely go to the Manual of the Warrior of Light. And yeah, you can just have that as a little pocket. It's like a little pocket guide.
They're important. They're important to have like in your book collection. Just one of those ones where you can just dive into, have a quick read, and that can set you up for the day. Like, some of my favorite type of book, because sometimes you don't have the time to sit down and go through 20, 30 pages. It's that quick bit of content that helps you kind of set you on your day.
Yeah, it's true. So yeah, definitely recommend that one. I've got so many tabs open now. Again, the ratings on this are quite high as well, 66,000. I think that's the most we've seen, 4.6. So yeah, go out and grab that one. The link will be in the description below. What's your next book?
So my next book is from a brand called Represent. So this is a Manchester-based fashion brand that sell menswear clothes. So they've been going for the last 10 years now, and the book kind of documents their rise to fame almost. So from the I would say humble beginnings, they started off with money, but from their earlier days to where they built the brand now. And for me, in that fashion marketing space, it really helped me open my mind in terms of how to be creative on a budget, and how they've done it and how they've been able to execute it with quite small teams. Obviously, you go to, when you're working within a bigger brand, your budgets are bigger, and you tend to. I find it harder with bigger budgets to be creative, but it's when you've got less budget to work with, and you're forced to kind of think outside of the box and try something new. Yeah, it just highlighted that for me. So the two brothers own a brand called George and Michael Heaton, and it just documents their ways of life and how they've got to this stage in terms of having a fashion brand that turns over 27 million a year, in a lot of the big wholesale retailers. They ship all over the world. It's quite an iconic story, and I think they've both been called out of being, I think, is it the 30 under 30s list from Forbes.
It's a mad list because I feel like it's such a trend. It's such a unique like amount of people. So, so many people who want to be on this list. I don't want to digress too much, but it just makes me think, like, I remember in advertising there'll be like 30 under 30s in advertising. I'm just like, half of these people are just, there's people who are just like PR ready. I don't know how to explain. Yeah. You get a lot of
personal brands there already. Yeah.
There's a lot of those, but obviously that doesn't take away from their success, of course, man. What they've done is absolutely amazing. You shout about them a lot, and I didn't know about them until you told me about them. So yeah, man, share the story. Have you got like a copy, or you can share your screen or anything?
Interestingly, yeah, I'll share my screen. I did buy the book, but then I sold it just for cash. The book is £125. Again, I feel like it's worth it. It's worth that amount, and I gained a lot from it. But I feel like I've got my learnings from it. They also have a visual documentary on YouTube that kind of touches on the surface of the book as well. But yeah, I'll share my screen and I can show you their site and how the book looks. Can you see that?
This is screen now. Yeah, I can see it now.
Cool. So yeah, kind of dedication. The book actually comes in quite a really like aesthetically pleasing, almost on trend, hardback version. It's probably like an A4 size as well, so good size. Often people use it as like an ornament, almost like a piece of art. But yeah, as I said, £125. It goes on their, it touches on their 10-year anniversary of a brand and where they built the brand to and how they got there and key milestones along that way. But yeah, definitely if you're into fashion, or even if you're just into like success stories and how people have built brands or built their personal brand, if you're into marketing, merchandising, just there's so many different takeaways from this book that can help in so many different sectors of people's lives. But they're also super into fitness, and that is kind of kickstarted my fitness journey as well, and how your mental sharpness kind of correlates to how you feel physically. And as I said earlier, throughout lockdown, that was like a habit of mine that I kind of let go a bit. But yeah, through following these guys on Instagram and reading the book and reading their documentary, it's really helped me snap back and get my mind and body in the right place. And yeah, it's just been beneficial. I feel like they've flourished really well. It's not an overnight success story. They touch on a lot of like their hard times and where they struggle to pay staff and all of that fun stuff within building a brand. But definitely recommend this if you're into that type of stuff.
Okay, cool, man. That's good. I wonder where the influences kind of came from as well, because this reminds me of another book I bought. I don't know why I went out and bought this. I think this was, let me check the thing when it came out. I feel like this is, do you know when Jay-Z dropped his album? Was it like a Magna Carta? Holy Grail.
When was that? 20, I want to say 2000. I got 2015. It could be
that's way later.
2013 maybe.
2011.
Oh, 11. Oh.
No, it was released 2013. Sorry, okay. 2013. But I know, like in that press, like in that run, he dropped this book called Decoded, and it sounds similar. It's more about Jay-Z's like life and art, but there was a good correlation between that, like his music and art and his life, and it was like decoding everything. I'm just gonna give a quick shout out to it. So I'm just gonna share the screen quickly because I thought that was I wonder if this book ever like influenced them, if they ever came across this book at all. Because I thought, yeah, this book. I do have it, but I don't have it in this house at the moment. I don't know if you ever came across it. This is one of the covers, but the other cover was actually the reverse. It's like it was white.
Okay.
And it just reminds me of like everything you just said, and it was more like pictures inside, and there was some text and stuff like that, and there was just all these like pictures. It was kind of like Kanye West's like documentary, but in pictures, into a certain extent. I recommend this as well, but that's what that reminded you of, the represent thing. And I just thought it would be interesting to know kind of like what their influences was.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But yeah, man, I want to move on to my final book. My final book is called Narconomics. I don't know if you've ever heard of this one. I know we did a trial run last week or 2 weeks ago. I never included this one, but it was on my shelf today, and I was like, you know what? This book is epic, you know. This book is epic. So without saying too much about it, like it says Narconomics, how to run a drug cartel, right?
Nah, sick. The title's sick. Like already.
So like I want to take it back because I remember, I think someone came into our university, Timpson. I don't know, you ever heard of Timpson before? They do like
they do like key exchanges and
they're like locksmiths, and they do keys and blah 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 blah. And like I think it was the owner. He came in and he spoke to us, and he was talking about how he mainly employs people who have criminal records. He was like, there's certain types of criminals who are smarter than the average person. And he's like, the way they run certain organizations, like their drug, it could be criminal organizations, is like how a CEO run like a 5-6 figure or a 6-figure business or a 7-figure business. And he saw that, and this was probably like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And he saw that then. I never really understood it. But I thought it was a good opportunity to give people who are in prisons on certain charges a way out afterwards, so they could change their life around. Whether they do or they don't, I don't know. But this is a good rehabilitation
these opportunities
pathway.
there.
Exactly. So you could own your own Timpson, and you can run your own business or whatever. And if you have the dedication and the discipline to do so, then you can go do that. But in this book, like they proper, like even at the back, like they proper go in and show you like how, like when you think of like a drug cartel, do you even think about branding? And you might not. You just think selling drugs or whatever. But you look at films like American Gangster, he called his drug like Blue Magic. Do you know what I mean? And it was like that was his brand value in saying that name. You got that Blue Magic. You got that Blue Magic. Do you know what I mean? And then they dyed the cocaine blue. Do you know what I mean? For whatever reason, I can't remember why, but it was a different color. And then other people trying to sell their own thing, but it doesn't ring the same because this version of this Blue Magic was like the Coca-Cola of cocaine. Like everybody wanted it. Do you know what I mean? From around the whole country. Do you know what I mean? And it just shows the value in that. And like these guys, they talk about restructuring their organization. So if they get hit hard, they got to start again. They got to recruit more people. Loads of people going to jail. They need to hire more people. Like they're thinking like this is an organization. This is literally 6-7 figure organization, like 6-7 figure organizations, and the people who are involved are running some proper big organizations globally. They got different logistics.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that just the logistics of that, the whole process is it's not easy to digest. And I'm only saying that from watching Top Boy. Like it gives you an insight into the difficulties of that and how to find loopholes and get away with with making sure the whole process is financially viable, like you're getting a good cut from it, which is business. This is how product-based businesses operate. It's a similar blueprint.
Exactly. And it's just relating the two. And the book does an amazing job of just relating the two, like how they can drive down the price of cocaine, and how like sometimes they say like, oh, Pablo Escobar was worth 600 billion or whatever. But it depends on what they're basing that off. Are they basing it off how many prices of cocaine he had, or how much cases of cocaine he had or he sold, or do you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes they're getting the pricing wrong. Sometimes it could be the coca leaves, how many farms they had, like, and all these different types of stuff as well. And it this breaks everything down from like the supply to the demand of like everything. And to me, it's interesting to me to know how to run a drug cartel, because I just feel like if you ever watch Breaking Bad, I'm like, yo, it's sick. Better Call Saul, that's just dropped as well, the new season. Definitely go check that out.
Is that good? I've not actually seen that, you know.
It's a slow burner, very slow burner, but I love these shows. These slow burners are amazing. Like it's, you know what, you have to pay attention to all the nuggets they're dropping to you, and that's why it's so slow. And I love it. And it's not fast paced. It's not like bang bang bang. It's not one of those watches that I have to watch. I have to. Do you know what I mean? And some of the situations that happen, it's like, how did he get out of that? Or who's this guy? Why did he die? Or do you know what I mean? It's amazing. So Better Call Saul, it's like it's the sequel and prequel, right? So it's obviously after Breaking Bad, but it's based before Breaking Bad. So you get to see how the Salamancas came into power. You get to see Gus. You get to see how how Saul Goodman became Saul Goodman. Like, it's amazing. As long as you got the patience to watch it, and you know that this is worth its while, and you're taking in the art that these guys are showing you. As long as you understand that, you'll know that this is one of the best shows. Like, this is up there with Breaking Bad. Like, this is up there.
I definitely have to check that out. I love Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
and like I said, again, that was a slow burn, and it's one of those ones you have to pay attention to get the most out of. So
yeah,
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, man, check out that. Obviously, Narconomics, again on Amazon. I think he's got some really good views. Let's see, I've got it here, How to Run Drug Cartel. So I read the book. I haven't read it all, to be honest. I'm still kind of like halfway reading through it. But from what I read so far, I just thought, wow, unbelievable. You can get the audio book. Again, it's got some good views, 4.6 out of 5. So I don't know how well credited these reviews are on Amazon. I know sometimes people rather go to different websites, but for me here, Amazon, Narconomics, How to Run a Drug Cartel. If this is something you can relate to, you'll probably like it. If not, you'll be like, this doesn't make no sense. But it does build a strong case for how smart some of these people are, because some people like to think that if it's dumb to be a criminal or whatever, but sometimes they choose the wrong path, or sometimes if they were just ushered into the right path, they could be just as popular.
Right thinking, just the wrong space, the wrong path.
Exactly that. So yeah, man, big shout out to them. And I guess I got one last shout out. I don't know if you have any other books that you want to discuss or touch on, but my last one is this is a big chunk of books here, but 22 Immutable Laws of Branding. This is it's a really easy book. So you just go through it. Like, I'm like, I don't know what number am I on? Number 9. Like, there's different laws. So you got like the law of the name, the law of expansion, the law of contraction, publicity, the law of advertising. There's all these different, like, it gives you some good ideas and really good examples of some like branding examples. I thought it was a really, really good book. Nipsey Hussle mentioned this book when he was building his brand, the Victory Lap and a marathon. And I read it, and I've been reading it, and there are some good examples in here of like how to kind of maintain and keep a strong brand. There's no like right or wrong answer. Like there's no some people who might just sell like one product and that's their branding. It's just that one product and that's all they do and that's all they sell. And then there's other people who they want to make more money by like having like different products that go around it. But they might not be the best product, but there's like one main product and then everything else that kind of supports it. But this is all about the perception. So like I feel like people who are good at this is like Tesla, Apple, you know, the way Apple, they have their whole ecosystem. Tesla's trying to do the same thing but in cars. So you know, you don't go to a mechanic if you need to fix a Tesla. You go to a Tesla garage. Or you know, it's things like that. And same with your Apple, you know, iPhone or whatever. You can go to these like knockoff / you know, dodgy phone shops or whatever. But now Apple have their Apple Care and stuff. Like they never had this before, but they're taking that all over, and it's all about the perception of that brand, and that's why they can charge X amount. Do you know what I mean? Represents probably got it.
Yeah, it's that brand perception. It's like you can kind of tell their brands because they've built a brand based on a community rather than a product, and you can see the difference and you feel the difference. There's that engagement from their customers and their target audience, which you can't get if you a product based business that's just focusing on product. That's where that branding element comes in. But no, it sounds like a cool book. Definitely one I would have liked to read like when I was doing Estrada, because again there was these words that kept flying around like marketing and branding, and I was like, what's this? What are these words? So yeah.
The thing is, you did have a good perception and stuff, and I feel like if you kept on working at it, you can do it. But you know what? The next thing that you decide to do, wherever it might be, could be the things. You know what I mean? And you keep working on it, and then even now, what you know, you can help your missus out, and still have that same, you know, that same perception. I think that's really, really important. Keeping the brand. Like if you want to be a brand that always does something different, like people always want to know what's happening next. Like if you compare the perception of like, let's say Drake, and you're like, you kind of know what he's probably going to come up with, but you know it's going to be on trend. But then you got like Kendrick Lamar, you're like,
he could release anything. Yeah, you have no idea what. Same
it's keeping you on your toes, and you want to know what that is like. Do you know what I mean? Not to say that he's going to smash like streaming numbers or anything like that, but it's just the perception. And that keeps him in the conversation as like, okay, yeah, he's probably one of the best artists that I've been out there. Do you know what I mean? And it's having that, and I think that's really important. And there's a lot of laws and principles in this book that you can just take away. I definitely try to implement some of them for sure. But again, it's easier said than done. But yeah, another shout out to that book. So yeah, man, big that one up.
Cool.
Big that one up, man. So yeah, I'm happy to wrap it there, to be fair. There, I think we've given you just over 10 books there, overall, including kind of the bonus, some of the honorable shout outs. But again, let us know what are some other books that you would recommend. Any books that change your life, any books that maybe are not like bestsellers or anything like that, but are still kind of like really important to you, that could be could be good as well to know. It could be the Quran, it could be the Bible, it could be whatever. It could be a religious book. I don't mind it, but let us know. Comment in the comment section down below. And another thing as well. If you are listening to this on the audio only, please leave a review and let us know what you think of the podcast. And yeah, man, we'll take in kind of any recommendations, any criticism. We'll take it into our stride and try and offer the best podcast possible with what we can do. So yeah, man, it's been a wicked episode. Jam, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I love the books that you mentioned as well. So yeah, man, happy to wrap it up there.
Cool, nice.
Yeah.